Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning to everyone. Welcome to the Taaruf session with DELL alumni. My name is Mariam and I'll be the moderator for this session. So DELL, in collaboration with Elites, created this session for BENL students to get to know our alumni and understand what they can do with a BENL degree. Today, we have 5 BENL alumni with us that are ready to share their experiences in the working world. So each speaker will be given 15 minutes for their sharing, and then we will end this session with a Q&A session. So if you have any questions to ask, please type them out in the YouTube live comment section, and our committee members will gather them and ask them at the end. So before we start, let us begin our sharing session with Kitab Al-Fatihah. All right. Without any further delay, I would like to invite Dato' Zuhri Iskandar, Head of Government and
Okay,
Stakeholder.
Mariam, Dato' Zuri is not here, so kita move pada
Second speaker, yeah?
second speaker.
All right. So, all right. So first of all, we are delighted to invite Sister Raja Nurwahida Adlin, Head of Content Development and Planning, Group Strategic Communications, Telekom Malaysia Berhad, to share about her line of work and how a BENL degree has helped her in her profession. Please welcome.
Thank you so much, Mariam. Right, I'm going to try to share my screen. Do tell me if that went well. Okay, how do I share? Share screen. Okay.
Wow.
Kata santai.
Yeah. It is santai. Macam wow, Akida. All right. Sorry to.
All right, so first and foremost, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. So what you see here is actually the different line of work that I have been doing for the past 10 years with Telekom Malaysia. So I started off with internal communications. After 2 years, I went on doing PR and external relations. While doing that, I was covering also the job for external communications. And 2 years after that, I graduated into doing brand and digital marketing. So that moved slightly different from doing your core function of communications. And then I went on doing campaign and content marketing, and the current one is content development and planning. The reason why I'm sharing this is to give you a sort of a worldview of the endless possibilities that you can achieve and you can do when you have a degree with DELL. So people usually say, when I was studying, I don't know how is it now, but when I was there, whenever anyone asks me what degree do I have, when I say English language and literature, and the first thing they will say, oh, cikgu. So I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean, I respect our educators. They make us who we are today. But that became a challenge for me. I take it as a challenge for myself because that was the first thing that I crossed off my list when I graduated. So I told myself I will not become an educator because that is the perception of the mass that if you take this degree, you will become a teacher. It's not a bad profession. It's a very noble one actually, but I wanted to challenge myself into doing something different. So that became my mantra when I graduated and I wanted to do things different. So I started looking for different things that I can do, that I can push the possibilities with the degree that I have. And that is what I learned the most. So when I went on doing that, I realized that it doesn't matter what field you go into. What matters is you have that passion and you really have good communication skills. So throughout all these functions that I actually went on learning and experiencing and then working on each of this, I've also conducted many interview sessions, trying to get new employees into the company. And I realized that there are so many degrees out there, but the underlying key important skill that everyone must have is good communication skills. And I think that is given when you have a degree with DELL, because by hook or by crook, you have to learn everything in English. And the subjects that you have, the activities that you do, it gives you confidence, it gives you sense of belonging, it gives you that knowledge that you know that at the end of the day, there's something that you learn out of this and it will make you into something. Example, our drama classes, our poetry classes. So you might not guess it now, but back then I had terrible stage frights. Once I went on stage for public speaking with the text in my hand, but I was so scared that I forgot that I was holding to my text. I literally went on saying Assalamualaikum. I gave my one introductory sentence. I froze and I said terima kasih. Then I went off, literally with the speech text in my hand. So, but after going on with our dramas, we stage dramas, we recite our poetry. So you learn to become more confident. You learn to be at ease with yourself. You learn to articulate better. So that is the one main experience that I will never forget doing my degree with in English language and literature. So that is the gist of how I went on doing different things. To me, when you have good communication skills, you learn, don't look at what you learn in the books. So if you really want to become a writer, by all means, hold your DELL textbook by heart. If you want to become a poet one day, by all means do that. But when you go into each of the subjects that you take in DELL, find what is that underlying message that you can learn from each of it. One subject would teach you about passion, one subject would teach you about confidence, the other would teach you about how to read between the lines, the sentences that you use, how to be poetic, how to be subtle but still be able to convey a message. So those are the fine little things that I look for when we were studying. And that became the gist of what I do today. Example, when I do corporate comms, sometimes you need to put out a very bold message to the public, but you need to be very subtle about it. So that's where my learning, my knowledge from our discourse analysis subjects came into play. So I always tell my friend, language is not very straightforward. You can say one thing, but you can mean so many other things. And that's the beauty about being a linguist, about knowing language. So people tend to think that when you learn language, it's something very easy and simple, that you just want a very simple degree to pass with. That's not how it is for me. So I'm pretty sure my friends here and everyone here in the room probably have the same philosophy or idea. So let me give you, okay, so this is one thing that I wanted to highlight. So it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So the other thing that challenge I had when was doing the degree with DELL was, whenever I go anywhere and when people ask, why are you studying? I said, IIU. What subject? I said, I would say I have a degree. I'm doing a degree in English language and literature. Oh, ini Ustazah Rock. So that's another statement that I always get that I feel is, okay, I don't take that negatively. In a way, I'm somewhat proud of it, because to me, being one thing being in IIU and secondly doing a degree in English language doesn't mean that you're different from the rest. It means that you can do so many other things. You can even communicate better to people when it comes to even any religious matters. You can communicate better, and not necessarily whenever you preach or whenever you try to get a message out that you always have to speak in bahasa. No, it doesn't mean that. So it means that you can do more things than the rest, and there's no boundary for you. Right, so I wanted to give you an example. This is a profiling framework that I did for our CEO. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because I want to be able to share to you the extent that you can go with the skills and the knowledge that you get from doing a degree with DELL. So this plan is for our CEO profiling, in which first we identify our key C-suite. So in this case, it was our CEO. So when you build a profiling agenda, you want to talk about the brand of the company. You want to be able to talk about what are the key matters that the company would like to address when they talk to the market, your target audiences. And for us, it was the enterprises and the public sector. And when you develop your profiling plan, you need to know how do you want to build that presence, and how do you want define what is the message that you carry forward in the market. So despite some might feel that this is, it needs a special skill to do it, but the main key thing is you need to possess good communication skill, and you need to dress it up, dramatize it, and find your anchor, find your passion. So when you write, when you do anything, you have to find that anchor. Anchor here means whatever you do, you find that one single message that you always drive your initiatives to. And that was how it is also for me when I write any articles or any editorials, anything that we publish to media. That one key message has to be visible in everything that you say. Yes, sometimes you take time to tell the whole story. You need to have a perfect storytelling process happening there, but never lose your anchor. And that is also something that I do in my everyday job.
70.
Right. So that is something that I also do in my everyday work. So when you find your anchor can also be your passion. So if you like what you do, it doesn't matter where you are, with good communication skills, with good knowledge, and be adaptable, be agile. You can be in any area, and the rest of the skills that you need, you just pick up along the way. It doesn't mean that you have to be perfect when you start off, but having that good skills, mastering English language, knowing how to adapt, knowing how to be very friendly with people. So those are the things that I got from being in this degree. So we talk to people a lot, we socialize, we plan, we be creative, we find answers that are outside of the box. So those are the things that you can get and you can learn from being in DELL. Don't limit yourself to what's in the book. So go beyond, explore. So that's one thing. Which leads me to here. Imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. So this is what Einstein said. So holding this as a, I wouldn't say as a mantra, but one thing when we went through our learning process in DELL, it gives you that possibility of exploring your imagination, you being creative. Creative doesn't mean I do interior design, I do Photoshop, I do Adobe Illustrator. So, but creativity means in the way you write, in the way you solve a problem, in the way that you talk to people, you can also be creative. And I remember Dr. Mehdi used to say to me, when you talk to Penangites, they are very animated. So to me, being animated is also about being creative, because you try to push that message out more with the way you talk, the way you express things, the way you show things. So that's all part of being creative. And that confidence is something that I developed when I was doing my degree with DELL. Whether it's through our drama presentations, our poetry recitals, our extracurricular activities, those activities shaped me into what I am today. And the other thing that I would also like to emphasize is having good communication skills doesn't mean you talk all the time. Yeah, so a part of learning your drama, your poetry, your languages, linguistics and all, the other message that you can, the underlying message that you can get is that sometimes to know more or to understand more is just to observe and listen. So example, your discourse analysis or your grammatical analysis, I'm not sure whether those subjects are being still being taught in there. Okay, so those are the kind of subjects that it teaches you to be more observant. It teaches you to listen more, analyze more. So language is not just about talking, it's also about analyzing and understanding the message and being able to then, how should I say, being able to then understand it and respond effectively. And that whole process shaped you into a well-rounded person, not physically, but mentally. And it makes you a better listener, it makes you a better team leader, it makes you a better team member as well. And you shouldn't, when you observe a lot, those are the people that you need to be aware of, because people who observe a lot, they make sense when they talk. You don't want to be someone who talk, but all nonsense. So that is one of the important skill that I've learned, which made me who I am today, which helped a lot in my whole entire career and journey. How long have I taken? Do I have more time?
Hold on. You're so fascinating. I did not take down. Okay, Lawaida, you can have another 5 more minutes.
Okay.
It's so fascinating, Wahida.
All right. So the other thing that I would also like to highlight is always find ways and possibilities for you to experience new things. It doesn't mean when you learn language or you learn literature, you learn linguistics, you are only limited to that. Bear in mind that that is actually the foundation, the basis to other great things that you can do. For example, I've had many colleagues who are very good in what they do, and they are very capable in their own field and functions. But sometimes across the 10 years for being in TM, the one major challenge that I see everyone face is they are unable to communicate themselves. They are unable to share. They have good points, but it's all buried in their slides or in their presentation decks. So as you go along, as you learn new things, build that confidence, that capability to deliver what you want to say. Doesn't mean that if you are an introvert, you cannot be outspoken. I am an introvert, but when there is a need for me to talk or speak or share ideas, so that's where you build that capability, that confidence, and just explore things that you can do. It doesn't mean it changes you, but it just makes you someone better. And the skills that you learn along the way, whether it's in finance or it's in, okay, the in thing right now is digital marketing, whether it's social media analytics, whether it's Internet of Things, those are the things that you can pick up along the way, because technology changes all the time. And that learning journey happens all the time. So you learn, you unlearn, and you relearn. So always hold that dear to your heart, that throughout your years in IIU and your working years, that there are new skills that you are supposed to learn and better yourself from one point to another. But good communication skills, being a well-rounded person, being someone who is dynamic, being someone who is confident, able to read between the lines, able to communicate better, able to deliver your message. That is something that you get from having good foundation, and that is where you are starting now here in DELL.
Yes, thank you, Wahida. Very, very fascinating. Yeah, well, Mariam, you can proceed with that.
Thank you, Sister Raja, for the inspiring content. If you want to ask Sister Raja more, please type it out in the YouTube live comment section, or you can just type it out in the chat box in Zoom. Yeah. So moving on to our next speaker, graduated in 1995, Dato' Ozuri began his career as a journalist before he ventured into the corporate world as a communications specialist. He has served in several public listed companies such as Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad, Lingkaran Trans Kota Berhad, Tanchong Holdings Berhad, and currently he plays the dual role as a head of corporate communications for Pharma Niaga Berhad, as well as head of government and stakeholder management of Bosted Holdings Berhad. On his free time, he loves to travel, take photos, cycling, and riding motorcycle. So today, he will share a little bit about his profession and about how being a former BANL student has helped him in his work. So please welcome.
Dato', where's Dato'?
Dato' Ozuri here?
Yeah, Dato' is here.
Dato', you're on mute, Dato'.
Yeah, okay. Okay, can you guys listen to me? Boleh jelas ya?
Yes.
Okay. Assalamualaikum, good morning. I'm supposed to be the first speaker, but I had some technicality challenge. When you have come to my age, then you face this kind of challenges. I'm sure there's no problem with you guys, especially the newly intake, is it? How many of them that will be?
There are 90, I think 100 plus of them,
100
but
plus,
some are watching via YouTube live.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I have about 15 to 20 minutes, but actually I prefer to have a lot of Q&A questions because I'm sure most of the speakers today, more or less, they'll be talking about the same points. So I would love to actually listen to your questions so that we can address with the relevant answers. But let me share some slides, although my slide is not as good as Wahida. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Share screen. Now, where's my slide? Okay, here it is.
Okay, Dato', you make it up for your vast experiences.
Okay, tak apa. It's okay. You guys nampak tak my slide?
Yes, we can see your slide.
Okay, that's not me. That's my twin brother, Gongyu. Okay, life to me is all about choices. Graduated in 1995. It's funny actually how I started back in 1989. Yo, God, some of you were not even born yet. Okay, so in 1990, I joined matriculation at UM in 1989. That was back in Subanjaya. Now the matriculation is the Inti College, Telus College. I'm not so sure, section 15. Then, back then there was no BANL. Yeah, there's no such course of Department of English Language and Literature. Tak ada. Yeah. So there was then only economics and law. So I studied science stream, so I registered myself, and then I got economics matriculation. It was a struggle for me being a not much of interest in maths actually, to be honest. But I guess I excel in English and in language. So Dr. Nora approached some of us and offered us not that blue and red card, but more or less like that. You not stay on with economics, or do you want to try a new course that we are opening in our UM campus? In what course? English language. English language nak jadi apa ni? I was thinking with a couple of friends. There are a few of them. But I made that kind of choice. I made a choice to study English then. So when we joined main campus in 1991, 1991. So I was the second batch of BANL students. I think there were 5 of us. Yeah, there were 5 of us. And we finished study in 1995. My God, that was ages ago. Just a bit background myself, career-wise. Yeah. Now, study English, people say, you nak jadi apa, you nak belajar apa, you nak kerja apa ni? You want to be a teacher, you should join TESOL. Why you want to learn English language and literature? Literature, for God's sake. You're not even a teacher, you want to become a teacher. No, although my parents are teachers, but I don't see myself as a teacher. But I just trust my faith, just kept my faith, jump and studied for 3.5 years. I finished it 3.5 years, so I was kind of express looking at it. And I started as a Malay reporter in Harian Metro. Oh my God, lagi-lagi orang akan cakap, you study English tapi jadi reporter BM. What's wrong with you? They asked me. Now, that's the thing. When you make choices in life, sometimes you don't have to follow the normal path. You always have to take the unbeaten path, the one that different than others. Yeah, that's funny because I studied English but become a Malay reporter in a Malay newspaper. Lagilah paper Harian Metro then was very like a tabloid paper. It's not even the business paper, whatever. It's a Harian Metro. Now, wonder why I made that. I started my career as such because this is where I think all of us can learn, can share, especially you guys new students here, is that you always want to be different than others. Now, if I'm an English graduate, I become a journalist in NST and in the Star or the Sun then, okay? Or even now, let's say Malaysia King or whatever. Of course, you have your strength as in English, but your strength will be much stronger if you are somewhere where people need you. So kita tahu my BM okay, I can write in BM. It's just sometimes my thinking is still in English, kan? I have a difficulty of changing this thinking and writing. But I work in a Malay newspaper and people all look up on me. They look up on me, they say, oh, okay, any press conference in English, you hantar Ozuri. Anything you meet somebody with a company, you hantar Ozuri. Because he can understand English better, he can speak English better than all other reporters. So I stood out in that pool of journalists, of Malay reporters in that newspaper. So that's how I carved my career. Because sometimes if I go to in the Star, I'm just one tiny drop among a big pool of much more competent English speaking or English writers in that newspaper. It will be a struggle for me to climb up my career. So that was my thinking purely. Kata, jomlah dekat kerja surat abang Melayu ni. Because aku seorang dia pandai cakap orang putih, orang lain tak pandai. Bila dia orang lain tak pandai, dia hantar I yang pandai saja ke depan. So I got all the exposure, opportunity itu, even though I was a rookie, kita baru lagi masuk, a newbie, but they had to send me because they know I'm better. I got travel to overseas, I had exposure to international press conferences, pergi international seminars because they believe that I can understand better. Yeah? Now, after about 5 years in the journalism, I was thinking, oh God, I can't go on like working as a journalist because the first year I work, Hari Raya kena kerja kat office. Hari Raya Korban pun kena kerja kat office. Girlfriend run away sebab I have to work in odd hours. Sometimes janji dating pukul 8, sekali boss will stay on, kata you have to write, you got a assignment, urgent assignment to go. After a while, girlfriend pun cabut lari. Because you don't work on Saturday, Sunday, so you have to work. You work hours. You work on 3 shifts. Sometimes you work at night. Then you almost like have no life for 5 years. It doesn't mean that I did not enjoy. I enjoyed very much. I enjoyed all the exposure given. In fact, I'm very thankful to my experience as a journalist to building the career that I am now. Most of my network is based on my early years of as a journalist. Then I wanted to switch to become a corporate, venture into a corporate because I think my experience, my networking in journalism would help me. Tapi if you want to work into a corporate world, it's again another huge pool of people that you need to compete. So I was thinking, how am I going to excel out of these people? So what I did is that instead of doing masters in English, I did masters in business admin. Wow, really, yeah, it was kind of commit suicide juga lah. It was kind of suicide because I have to learn all the maths, financial analysis, accounting, whatever. It was a struggle for about 2 years doing part-time. At that time I was married, had a family. Weekend tak ada life, yeah, but studied. But it paid off, really paid off, because after that, the climb in the corporate ladder is much faster because you understand business better and overall running of the business in HR, in legal, and other stuff. Yeah? So my base as a linguist, my early experience as a journalist, as a writer, and my knowledge in business, it really sum up the whole of my career. Yeah. So this is not the starting actually. No, I mean, this is not the starting and also at the end. It's only a starting. You can do a lot of things just being a DELL graduate. Yeah? So from Puncak Niaga Holdings, I joined Lingkaran Transporter Holdings Berhad. There was about 7 years I spent there. Yeah? Then I said, oh, kita dah kerja company Melayu banyak tu. Ada Metro, company Melayu, Puncak Niaga, company Melayu, Lingkaran Transporter pun more or less company Melayu juga kan. It's a company mainly Malaysia. Okay, let's do something different. And I joined a Chinese Toto, ataupun not lah Toto lah. It's very Chinese traditional punya company, Tanjong Holdings Berhad. Now, I wonder why I want to join this Chinese company kan. Oh, actually we learn a lot how they run the company. It gives a lot of experience. Dia banyak membantu to understand how the Chinese business community run their business. Yeah, this is how I learned how to stretch $1 for a project. Yeah, really useful and thoughtful. Banyak I belajar dekat Tanjong Holding for 2 years. After that, I was offered to join Farman Berhad as a general manager. And after 11 years in Farmaniaga, I was promoted to become a deputy director, corporate services, come as a head of corporate communications. And early this year, Bafsa Holdings Berhad is actually is the main shareholder of Farmaniaga Berhad. So they said they want me in. But my boss in Farmaniaga said, no, you can't take him the whole thing. So I said, okay, play a dual role. So I become the head of government and stakeholder management for Bafsa Holdings Berhad, running for the whole group and their subsidiaries. And at the same time, the head of Protocom in Farmaniaga Berhad. I think most of you guys would know Farmaniaga Berhad because for the last 2 years, we have been venturing a lot in vaccine, yeah, COVID-19. Semua dah kecut, ya. Vaccination of vaccine COVID-19. Okay, now. How DELL graduates can market themselves? I think this is a very important question that you have in your mind. Yeah? First of all, you guys can become a very good writer. I think compared to about, let's say, 20 years ago, now, let's say now, I have very challenging time of looking for a good writer into my team. In Farmaniaga Berhad, I have 16 people in Corporate.com, yeah? And in Bafsa Holdings Berhad, I have about 13 people in Corporate.com. Over time, we have turnover, and bila tiap kali somebody resign, I want to look for replacement, I have very difficult time looking for a good writer because a lot of people do not write. Or maybe they write, but they do not write well. Sometimes I have to look for former journalists and everything, but to look for a good writer is very difficult. I think one of the reasons is that people do not write much anymore at the moment. I do not blame it, but I think it's affected by a lot of social media. Ya. Kita tulis dalam Facebook, kita tulis dalam Instagram, kita tulis dalam YouTube or everything, but we don't write much. We don't, in fact, we rarely read books at the moment. Yeah? We're very selective. We don't read newspaper. Well, there's not much of newspaper nowadays. Everything is on the smartphone. So we pick and choose what to read. So not many writers can write out there. So if you guys can train yourself as a good writer for the next 4 years, then you can really market yourself, because I foresee that employers will be looking for good writers to write a lot of things. Actually, when you do TikTok or you do YouTube or you do Facebook posting everything, they need content developer. Part of a content development team is a good writer, a good copywriter. It's very important, and the number of a good writer makin lama makin sikit. So you can capture this niche market, actually become a good writer. Yeah? So train yourself to write well, yeah, tulis, banyak tulis, okay. Your comprehension, yes, our comprehension is much better because once you write a lot and read a lot, then you can comprehend better, especially on other, well, how do you say, other phrases by other in other countries. For example, in English, in England, in UK, in US, they use phrases and everything just to make a write-up to look good. Some people, they don't understand, yeah, about what we call dry jokes by UK or slapsticks in US. Sometimes they don't get it, but we could. Next is social analysis now. You guys will be studying a lot of Shakespeare. I don't know, I hope so. Well, during my time, I studied a lot of Shakespeare's, a lot of literature stuff, a lot of plays and everything. The plays and the Shakespeare, the whole thing is not really just a presentation, but it's a lot of social analyzing of the people, of individuals, of people of different status and everything. And you guys will be studying a lot of body languages, behaviorals, and a lot of things inside all this literature stuff. Really, literature is, some people think, oh my God, such a boring subject. I can fall asleep in literature classes, everything. But actually, you learn a lot of social analysis. It's not you become a psychologist, no, you won't, but you'll be learning some basics of psychology in the literature, everything. But you'll be learning a lot of social analysis. And this would be very, very helpful bila you dah keluar, because now you can see people, you can see how they behave, and you can understand them. Now you'll be the first to capture. This is very important especially for people like me, I think Wahida also, as a communication specialist, where when we talk to people, we can more or less understand people, how they behave, how they think, how they want people to think, how they want people, how they present themselves, what's behind them. Yeah, that's very, very important in interpersonal communication skills. The first 1 minute or first 30 seconds is very important, and if you can capture how, then you can communicate better with these people. It's not that you nak stop them, kan? Actually kita nak communicate better, because as a communication practitioner, I would say that my style of talking is not important. It's because the most important is how I want to bridge myself with somebody else, how I want to convey my messages to somebody else. So I need to understand that somebody else tu dia suka apa, dia suka dengar macam mana, kan? Sebab itulah masa saya cakap dengan Dr. Ruby, how am I going to communicate with this young, actually bayar anak I sebenarnya. Kebetulan I was just finished my marathon of Squid Game, so I put photo of Gong Yu there. I'm sure most of you guys can relate that. Yeah, public speaking, good to have, but I know not many people can really speak. It doesn't matter. Kalau tak boleh cakap public speaking, it's okay, but make sure you become a good writer. Yeah, because if you can write good, you don't have to speak. But there will be a bonus, yeah. If you can speak, if you can communicate, you are not shy to talk, to express your ideas. You know, go ahead. Orang gelakkan you cakap bahasa Inggeris itu tunggal-langgang, especially in the early years that you are studying. It's okay. Kata apalah banner student tapi cakap English tunggal-langgang. Don't worry, don't care. Just say it. Yeah, the practice in front of the mirror, practice in front of the cameras. Is very good, very, very, very important. If you have public speaking, yes, you will shine in your career. Artistic, yeah, okay. Ini betul-betul to me is an advantage for all of us, yeah, because in literature you learn to become artistic. You will learn to become sensitive to things, to colors, to images, to visuals. This helps a lot in my career because I add this artistic thing into a corporate and mundane and boring papers. Yeah. So bila kita boleh able to add artistic and make it pleasant, make it artistically looking, you can touch the hearts of the people, then your employer will look for you. Yeah, these kind of people. Storytelling, yeah, you must. So notes ni bercerita ni. learn this skill. This skill will be taught in your course, yeah, for the next 4 years. How to storytelling. It's not lying. It's just how to make things look good or sounds better when you tell them. So this is the storytelling part. It can become a visual, just like what he does. Just like what I'm doing. It's all about storytelling. Macam mana kita tunjukkan, present ourselves, yeah? present our ideas, everything. Okay. Oh, I sorry, I lupa nak tukar atas satu our vision. No, it should not be our vision. What you should do, okay, instead of our vision, what you should guys do for the next 4 years, yeah? Stand out, be unique. Yeah? You must be able to stand out. Tau. You kena berani to be different. You need to get people's attention. By doing good, of course. You don't jangan buat nakal lah dekat university just to be stand out. No way. I think one of my behavior when I was in the university, okay lah, I pernah nakal juga kat university dulu. Selalu datang lambat kelas. But what I did is I always give my apple to my lecturer when I enter the class, so that she will remember me. Yeah, some of the lecturer will remember that kadang masuk kelas, I letak apple on the table. Then she will remember me. Although jadi kalau dia masa assignment tu dia ada markah kesian kat I. Okay, but stand out. It can be anything. Whether you're a good writer, you can become a good speaker. You need to know your strength and your weaknesses. Ya, tahukan apa yang kekuatan dan kelemahan tu, and you need to emphasize more on your strength and improve your weaknesses. I think that's very, very important. Ya, kalau you rasa you are good in speaking, okay, buatlah TikTok you ke, YouTube ke, whatever kan. If you think you become a good writer, write a lot, write for magazine, write for whatever. Just write, open a blog. Yeah, I used to have a blog spot. Yeah, this is where I wrote all my articles, everything. Yeah. Start networking early. Yeah. I know some of us are introvert. We like to be alone. We only have very few friends. Then, but if you have to, just like what he does, if you have to, go ahead, make as many friends as possible because you need to have a good network. Yeah? This will help you as your career progresses out, and do not confine yourself to only to BENL students. Build your network with law students, with economic students, accounting students. I tell you, even Arabic or IFK students, I tell you, they are going to be helping you guys out when you go out into the market. Yeah, all these people sometimes they become leaders in different organizations, and they will remember you and they will help you. It's very, very important. Ya. Kita kat luar sana, kita terpaksa bekerja dengan ramai orang from different background, from different people, and we need help. We need help, and we need help, and we need as many help as possible. Start networking, even to your USA, even to your association, activities, sports, society, or whatever. Start networking with other departments, with other courses. Yeah? Don't be shy to share your works. Yeah? Even starting today, if you don't have a website, have a website, blog or something, where you put your works there. And then if you think your works are good enough, you can send it to a newspaper. Now there are a lot of news portals that will accept thoughts, ideas, columns, and articles. If you think that you want to start small, you can start with writing about your campus, your activities, university activities, your department activities, whatever. Share your works, because when you go for work after that, after your graduation, you can print out this is what I did. You can print out your works and you show them. This is what I've been doing. My first year, I had tulis 3 article for this magazine. I've sent 1 article published in New 6 Times. I have 1 article published in Malaysia Kini or The Sun or The Star or whatever. Share your works. Yeah? Jangan simpan, ya. Okay, of course, study hard. Everybody knows that. Study smart juga. Adventurous, yeah. Be brave to try new things. Yeah? Do not stick into your comfort zone when you study. Yeah? Kalau you kata you suka American literature je, or you study American literature, do not want to touch about Arabic literature or what else did I study? British literature. British literature. Be adventurous. Learn new things. Sometimes it's not even inside the book or in the sukatan pelajaran, in your syllabus, everything. Be adventurous. Yeah. Be adventurous. Do not confine yourself to what you are comfortable with. never stop learning. Yeah, learn new things. Just like what he does it. Yeah, I have to. I don't echo what he does it, but what she says is true. Never stop learning. Learn something new. Like I learned myself much later. I learned Photoshop on my own. Yeah. I learned apa lagi I learned. I even learned swimming, for God's sake. I learned swimming, but never stop learning. You need to continuously learning. You learn something new, just like what I did my MBA. Sometimes you want to study law, go ahead, study law. It's okay, no problem. You been a student, after that you get another degree in law. It's okay. It's good actually. It will be helpful for you. Yeah? And of course, lastly, you must read. Kita kena banyak baca. We need to read a lot instead of just watching a lot. Yeah, we need to change that. You need to read a lot because from reading, you can improve your writing skills. You can improve the way you speak, your thoughts. It's banyak difference, a big difference. Yeah. Okay. Now, how many times? Of course, lastly, you guys must be happy in everything what you do. Have faith in Allah SWT. Whatever that you do, that the path is dah tertulis, it's already written for you where you're gonna end up. Yeah? You might today you might think that you don't know where are you going to end. Don't worry about that. You've got 4 years to think about it, to try it. Ada banyak masa lagi. Don't worry. A lot of things will change. A lot of things you can do for the next 4 years. Kan? But be happy with what you do. You need to be happy. Jangan rasa depressed ataupun tak boleh nak cope or whatever. Don't worry. Be happy. Enjoy. Really, I was really enjoying myself when I did my BL. Lagilah masa tu there was not much of syllabus, not much activities. There only about handful of us kan. And we really enjoyed ourselves then. Yeah, I really enjoyed myself, and I just trust myself. I just trust my lecturers and friends that things are going to be good. Yeah, percaya kepada Allah, banyakkan berdoa. Along the way, things will be better. Definitely, don't worry about it. Okay, dah cukup. I think 20 minutes of my time. Kalau nanti ada any questions, bolehlah put on the chat box, or you can ask me later. Yeah, maybe I should share later in the chat box I will put my email address or my phone number. If you guys want to call me, text me, or email to me anytime, boleh saja. I think that should be it. Like other speakers, I'm sure they have their own thoughts and input. Thank you very much for inviting me. Look forward for your questions. Okay.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ozuri, for the encouraging speech. Make sure to participate in the Q&A session later if you have more questions for Dr. Ozuri. So moving on, we have Sister Shaza Nur Maria Omar, a PhD student of International University of Japan and Pegawai Tadbir dan Diplomatik. Without wasting the time, please give a round of applause to Sister Shaza. Please.
Assalamualaikum, everyone. Actually, I didn't actually prepare any presentation because I think more or less the same with the other speakers. Okay, I don't really have that vast experience in my career yet because I only had like a short stint in teaching, like for 4-5 years. After I graduated, I started with a English teacher and English tutor at 2 different private colleges. And then I joined the public service as an administrative and diplomatic officer, a PTD officer. So my first posting was at the Ministry of Works in 2011. It was quite difficult for me back then because it was in HR, human resource. I did human resource as my first posting in the public service. But I learned a lot as well there. And I would like to say that how my experience in DELL has helped me, even though I'm doing HR. But what I did was like, I also was also involved in planning, corporate planning, and preparing books and everything for the ministry. So that was, I think, where my skills and maybe my experience in language helped a lot. And then I was transferred to the Ministry of Education, and I think this is where I really enjoyed my job the most. I was first tasked with the bilateral relations and cooperation in the field of education, of course, because I was with the MOE. And then I was also working with the Malaysian National Commissions for UNESCO Malaysia. And I think this is where I realized that I really enjoy working in and doing international relations. And if you ask me, some of the courses that I learned back in DELL has helped me here is especially in preparing speeches, drafting meeting briefs, taking notes during meetings, like for example, and it helped me, having language acquisition knowledge helped me a lot in understanding during meetings. For example, there's this one time when we were discussing about the English teaching assistant programs with the American Embassy. Because I know a lot about second language acquisition. So although that I wasn't one of the policy makers in education, but it helped me to explain back to my colleagues, my bosses, because they use quite a lot of technical words in their discussion. And it is not only about English. I was also tasked with the introduction of Korean language in Malaysian schools. I'm not sure if everyone knows it, but we are now offering Korean languages in schools. And during the discussion, we attend meetings with people from many departments, various departments, institutions, and they discuss a lot about language acquisition. And when we talk about Korean language, it is no longer a second language. It has become a third language. So again, I think my experience in DELL helped a lot here. And then I was sent to the Ministry of Housing and Local Government, but it was really for a short period. It was like 2 years and a half, or maybe 3 months before I came to Japan. And currently what I'm doing is I'm doing a study in international relations, focusing on bilateral relations between Malaysia and a neighboring country. So it would make some people question why the jump from English to international relations. But I think it is actually quite related, because like what I'm doing now is actually a discourse analysis of the meeting discussions, media reports. I look at the news report in, I'm doing Indonesia and Malaysia relations. So I look at the media reports in both countries, and then I analyze what is happening there, why it is happening like that. So things like that. So it is not related at all, but I can say that my experience in DELL actually helped me in this IR journey. And back before I managed to secure my candidature, of course, because my background, I had my master's is also in linguistics in UM. So before I was accepted for my PhD, I had to take a whole year of course in IR, in international relations. And a lot of the theories that they use are actually the things that I have heard and I have some knowledge of during my study in IIUM, especially in literature classes, world literature. So, you know, because when you learn or discuss about politics, you cannot run away from what is happening at a certain country at that time. And I would like to say that literature is actually manifesting whatever is happening at a certain places at a certain point in time. So it helps me a lot in understanding the terms and what is actually happening in the world. So I cannot say that having a background in English language and literature doesn't help me at all. So it does help me a lot in my work and my study now. So if any one of you are still questioning why are you here, because if I can remember correctly, I think when I was starting my year in IIUM, I had quite a funny experience as well, as similar like Dato. I wasn't actually registered in BAN IIUM. I was actually studying at a different place at that time. And then it was the registration day for IIUM matriculation. I can still remember it. And me and another friend of mine, we went out of our class and we decided, let's just take a taxi and go to IIUM. So we went to the matriculation center in PJ at that time and registered ourselves. We didn't bring anything at all. We just bring ourselves and just registered in BAN, to do BAN. So after that, then only my friend and I, we go back and call our parents, telling them, oh, we have actually registered for English. So of course,
yes, really a leap of faith.
Yeah, because I would like to think of myself as someone, I don't really like to be tied into a certain place, a certain task for so long. So I keep on thinking of what is that one thing that I can do that will help me to have a lot of options in future. So, and I think English is one of it. And based on what I have done until now, I think it is one of the right choices that I've made in life. So, of course, when you tell your parents and your friends saying that, oh, I've changed, because I was a science stream student and suddenly I'm doing art stream, English. So there was a lot of questions back then. What are you going to do? Are you going to be a teacher? Why are you doing English language and literature instead of TESOL? But I think whenever I say English, automatically people will say that, oh, you're going to be a teacher, you're doing TESOL. No, it's English language and literature. It's the same like TESOL, right? No, it's different. So you have to explain. But I think I would have to say that I have a good support from my parents. They said that just do whatever you want to do. So now I think my choices have served me well. And if I'd like to share about one of the biggest challenges for me in studying in DELL is that because I have the love for the language, but I don't have the ability, and my language skills was not really good back then. It was really, I think, was just okay, because I didn't come from a family background who speak English much. I was just a kampong girl who just loved English because my mom, she loves English because she wants to become a teacher, but of course she went a different path. So I think my language ability was one of the biggest challenges that I had studying in DELL. But I think eventually what was once for forced, it became easier as time goes by, because I think when you learn literature, the languages and the sentences, they tend to be longer, right? So I think it forced me initially to be more cautious, to read more, and to take time to understand in between the lines. You have to understand, because some words are so alien to me. Because so initially it was forced for me, but eventually now I think it helps me a lot in my language ability. And until now, I think it has helped me a lot because people are saying that it's easier for you because you can write and read as well as speak easier. So, but I think, yeah, if you think that, I'm not sure if any of the newly intake students, you were forced to take this course, or maybe you feel like there's no other courses, so I have to take this course. This is the easiest. But if you put yourself well, I think you can improve. I have seen some of my friends who are the same with me. We don't really have good English, but looking at them now, I think they have better English than me. So if you think that's your problem, then just do something about it. And eventually, in DELL, I think you're forced to speak in English. So it should be okay. Yeah, and sometimes if I look back, I was sometimes told that why did you choose English language and literature? Don't you think that if you do English language and literature, all you can become is a teacher? So that's why after I graduated, one of the reasons why I started with teaching is because I have been told that you should become a teacher. So that's why I started with teaching. I enjoyed teaching actually. And in fact, I kind of miss teaching that now I'm voluntarily tutoring students in my university in some English courses. But when I was still teaching, I think a lot of things happened, and one of it was then when my previous students, they were asking me how about experiences in work life, how can these courses help them, how to communicate well. So I was telling myself that, okay, if I wanted to teach later, I wanted to experience a different path. And then maybe one day, if I still want to teach, I'll go back to teaching. So that's why I think I applied into the public service. But also another reason for it was because I received a scholarship from the JPA. So I was actually also directed into applying. But I think it all ends well now. So yeah. So I think that's all maybe what I wanted to share. But before I end, maybe I'd like to end it with this one thing that I have always believed in. I think that wherever we are in now is actually preparing us for the future us. So back then, I was always thinking that, I will have a very limited options after I graduated because my English language ability is not that good. So there's only so much that I can do. I can maybe apply to become a teacher while improving my language, or maybe I will just do an administrative work. However, I think all the courses that I've learned, like for example, Dato and Wahida shared drama, for example, I've never been participating in drama or anything until I joined DELL. And it helps a lot in not only in public speaking, but also quick thinking. I think one of the things that I learned, one of the skills that I have from the drama classes are quick thinking. If something goes wrong, what should you do next? So you cannot take too much time to think, improvise. So that's one of the things that I've learned as well. And as for the other courses, what else? Let's think of what of the subjects that I also enjoyed learning world literature. So that I think could explain why I ventured into international relations, because learning about the world, the politics, and yeah, I have to learn economics now as well. So, but it shaped my interest in international relations now. So don't confine yourself into thinking that learning English, you'll become teacher, you can only be a writer, or you can only be doing something related to language. But there's a lot actually, like Wahida, I think she's doing so much. I can see from her social media sharing sometimes. And just look at the Datuk's achievements. I think just do your best in wherever you are now. So in future, everything will fall into place. So that's all from me.
Shaza, I just want to add, because it's funny. By the way, for students and participants, actually, Shaza Nur Maria and Raja Nur Wahida, they are both my batch. They are both my batch. All right, and that Tomedi as well. So, because Shaza, you mentioned something about apa you orang kampung. I think I remember when I joined Banel, I speak English with Perakian accents, but I orang Perak. So, but I think that's a good point you raise. That shouldn't be the defining factor, because our students, they have 4 more years, so they shouldn't be what I call maybe just because of that they become demotivated. Sedangkan muda lagi, tak apa, don't worry. Nanti lama-lama bunyi accent Kelantan ke Perak tu lama-lama ada. Alright. Mariam, you can continue.
Right, thank you very much, Sister Shaza, for the inspiring content. Next, let's invite our 4th speaker, Sister Alifah Zainuddin, who is a columnist at the Diplomat and a journalist at health news site Code Blue. She will be sharing with us what is it like being a journalist and how her Banal degree has helped her in her profession. Please welcome.
Thank you, Maria. So I'll start with just sharing my screen first, so to get the technicalities out of the way. Yeah. Okay, so you can see my screen. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll try to keep my presentation under 15 minutes, just to within my time limit lah. So Assalamualaikum everyone. Datuk, Wahida, Shaza, Irfan. Thank you, Mariam, for the kind introduction. And thank you, Dr. Ruby, for the invitation. And thank you, DELL, for having me for this important session. So first and foremost, congratulations to all new intake students. I know there's a lot going on right now, but once everything settles, I hope you'll enjoy your journey at IAUM as much as I did. It was definitely one of the best 4 years of my life, I'd say, and I hope it will be the same for you too. So let me just get straight to it, because I want to share as much as I can with you within the given time, so inshallah. Right, so I'll start here. Now, the reason why I'm sharing my LinkedIn profile here is because it's already arranged in a way that serves our interest today. So basically what I want to show you from this is, firstly, I graduated in 2015. So it's been 6 years since I left, and this is what I've been up to lah, technically. So out of that 6 years, the first year I spent doing my master's and my internship, and then the last 5 years as a journalist. So I hope to cover 2 parts in my sharing session. Firstly is my experience as a journalist. And then secondly is how I've benefited from the Banal program. So yeah. So right, so journalism, here's a bit of definition to give some context. So journalism is the activity of gathering, assessing, creating and presenting news and information. So what I want to emphasize here is the idea of gathering and presenting news, sorry, saying it. So regardless of what media outfit you belong to, right? Whether it's newspapers like The Star, NST, New York Times, or broadcast TV channels like TV3, Awani, CNN, or online portals like FMT, Malaysia Kini, and Code Blue, by definition, they are all the same. They all gather and they all present news, right? So what is different is the medium, whether it's print, broadcast, online, and the topics that they cover. So like Code Blue, for example, is specializes in healthcare. And then you have The Edge, which is heavy on corporate and business news. So when your interest is different, the way you gather and present news will be different. So I'll take you through the different experiences I've had with the Malaysian Reserve and now with Code Blue and the Diplomat, and maybe you'll see how different each publication is. Right, so first up is the Malaysian Reserve. Now, I'm no longer with the Malaysian Reserve, just a disclaimer. But I thought it's important for me to include this in my sharing as well, since it's a big part of my journey as a journalist so far. So also because I've only spent 3 to 4 months with Code Blue and the Diplomat, and 90% of the time I'm at home. So the physical side of going out and gathering news is better captured through my experience at EMR. So as you can see, it's a newspaper and it has a website. So right away from the front page, you can tell that it covers the economy, and then it covers a bit of government policy with this news on interstate travel. So you can refer to the left column here. It gives a snapshot on what it covers and the kind of traction it gets. But for now, let's take a look at the news gathering process. So these are some examples from my own experience on how we gather news. So it can be a press conference, it can be an event, it can be interviews. So on the top left corner here is an example of a press conference. So I think everyone's quite familiar with how it works. You basically gather a bunch of reporters. You say what you want to say, and then you let them ask questions, right? So this was in 2019, before COVID, when Tun Mahathir was the Prime Minister still. And we were there at the Prime Minister's office in Putrajaya to cover one of his press conferences. A bit of a fun fact here is that all 4 of us here are HS graduates. So yeah, that's why we decided to take a picture then. These are all my seniors, by the way. So yeah. Apart from press conferences, there are also events like this one. So this was the KL Summit in 2019, December. This was a big 3-day event, if I'm not mistaken, at KLCC, where world leaders like Erdogan and the former Iranian President, Dr. Hassan Rouhani, were in town. So it was very exciting and we were there to cover it. And then other than that, we have interviews. So this is with Dr. Siti Hasma, and this one with the former Japanese ambassador, Dr. Miyagawa, who I think was appointed to the board of governors at IAUM some time ago. And then there's this interview with Azhar Harun before he became Dewan Rakyat Speaker. And then, of course, lastly, the Iron Lady herself, Tan Sri Rafidah Aziz. So it was one of the most nerve-wracking interviews I've had, but with Tan Sri Rafidah, it's no holds barred. So that's always good for news. So right, so once we've gathered all the information we need, all the quotes we need, then we'll have to work on the story, right? So transforming all of that into news articles. So this is how the article will look like when it's out. Lengthwise, usually it's about 450 to 600 words, but if you're trying to fill up the whole page with some pics, it could go up to about 1,000 words. So if it's an exclusive, like this interview with Tun Siti Hasma, then we'll run the story for print first before we upload it online. So if it's breaking news, like, there's an accident somewhere, for example, then it will probably go online first, and then the editors will decide whether they want to include that in tomorrow's paper or not. So, and these are some examples of how the articles will look like when they're up online. So, all right, that's for Malaysian Reserve. Now moving on to Code Blue. So this is where I am now. So already you can feel that the difference. As you can see from the left panel, the medium is different, the topics are different, the audience is also different. So Code Blue is quite popular among the medical fraternity. So that's our main base. So it's online, it's niche, it's COVID. So I don't get to go out that often. So the way we gather news and produce stories are a bit different. So firstly, we try to gather news by looking at data sets. So we have a good amount of data that we can access now. So that's the COVID Now website, COVID Now website, the GitHub repository here, where you have the more granular data. And then we have these infographics from the Ministry of Health and JKJAV on vaccines, for example, so on right here. So these are the things that we keep track of daily. For people like us in the arts, there's probably too many numbers going on here. But again, it's all about telling a story. So all you need to know is that these numbers mean something. So once you figure out what these numbers mean, you'll start seeing patterns, and that's where the story is. So apart from data, we also gather news through interviews, which we can do now via Zoom, press conferences, either online or attending it physically, or events like monitoring Parliament. So we also talk to anonymous sources, like doctors and medical workers who have some issues that they want to raise, but they can't because there's this gag order or this law that prevents them from speaking without authorization. So whenever we have these interactions, we have to be very careful because they can get into a lot of trouble. Right, so this is an example of a story from an anonymous tip. Well, I like to share what the story is about, but I'll have to skip this part because I want to spend more time on the banner section. So if you have time, do give it a read, yeah? So now a bit about the Diplomat. What I want to highlight from the diplomat here is not so much about the process, because it's a more quiet, more critical process. A lot of it happens in my mind. There's a lot more research to it. So what I want to highlight here is its reach as an international platform. So you can see their reach extends to different countries, different continents, so Europe, Asia Pacific, East Asia, South Asia, and their web traffic is at least 1 million each month. So, and their readers here, if you can see, they're educated, so they have bachelor's degree and postgraduate degree. So it's a different audience altogether. What does that mean? Now, it means that your articles carry a lot more weight, right? So this is an example of their reach. As you can see from this Facebook analytics down here, the impressions are quite impressive. So it doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, this is what it can do, right? Now, here's another example. You can see that the analytics is not as great as the previous one, but the piece was picked up and featured in the Japan Times. So again, when we talk about the reach of international platforms, it's a different ballgame altogether. Their network is different, so the articles you write have to be more comprehensive and more in-depth, for a wider, more global audience, so to speak. All right, so now let's go back to where it all started. So I took these pictures from Elites, by the way, so thank you, Elites. They are mainly from the time I was in IAUM. So our first Banal Writers Festival, the launch of the Clairvoyance magazine, first edition. And then we have, of course, Elites Day the Night, which has been now incorporated into some kind of a tradition at DELL Elites. So I think this year we did an adaptation of Jack and Beanstalk. And then this year, this is from our visit to Balai Berita NSTP. So on the left here is just a bit of my profile as a student. I'm where you are today in orientation 10 years ago. So most of you will probably follow the same timeline-ish and graduate in 2025. Some of you will probably graduate a bit earlier. Some of you will probably graduate a bit later, and it doesn't really matter really. Enjoy it while you can. I specialized in both linguistics and literature. So I have to say I enjoy literature a bit more, but I enjoy linguistics too. So yeah, that's why I went with both. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I think I minored in Usuluddin as well. So a lot of Banal students actually minor in Usuluddin, but I also know some who did business administration, communications, psychology, political science, I think law as well. So yeah, if minoring is something you're interested in and you can manage, so go ahead, Whether it adds value though, that's very subjective. So I did Usuluddin, and I don't think that carried a lot of weight during interviews, at least at the workplaces that I've been with. But, so I did it for myself. I wanted to know more about the religion. So it was more of a spiritual, immaterial decision rather than, how to stand out in interviews. So what helps, I think, if you want to stand out is co-curricular activities. So I may be wrong, but, you can try that out also. Right. And so now, last but not least, the most important part, I think, how I benefited from the Banal program. So there are 3 key words that I want to highlight from my current work experience, 3 key areas where the Banal program has helped me a lot in my career. So I'm not sure if I can cover all 3 though with the time we have. So basically, they are reporting, questioning, and analyzing. So firstly, reporting. So in order to report, you need language skills, right? So listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So these are the tools you'll need to tell a story to your audience. So it's a very practical requisite. These are some practical courses, I think, in the Banal program that can help you build on these language skills. So firstly, poetry. Poetry is actually very helpful in journalism, whether you realize it or not. So when you have to come up with a headline, for example, now this is a bad thing to say, but it's actually a very catchy headline, and I think a lot of people will recognize it. I know this came out in Utusan, apa lagi Cina mau, right? Or what else do the Chinese want? Which doesn't really translate well in English, but in BM, the point is there's a nice ring to it linguistically, and it sticks. So, and that's the whole point of a headline. You want to attract people to read the article and you want them to remember it. So if you read articles in the New York Times, the Atlantic, for example, you'll notice there's a rhythm to the way they write their stories. And there's some artistry to it, right? So and in the Quran, for example, فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا, in every hardship there is ease, with every hardship there is ease. The repetition, right? So it's beautiful, it's genius. So in poetry class, you learn about these poetic forms like rhythms and sounds. And once you understand how it works, It can add a lot of value and flair to your writing. So next is advanced rhetoric, which during my time, I think it was called intensive expository writing, I think, right? So it's essentially a class where you learn how to think and write critically. So writing, of course, is the ultimate tool in journalism. So everything you learn in this class will 100% be used if you become a journalist. So you learn to read critically, you learn to write critically, and you'll be surprised actually at how much process and technique is involved to write something. So it's like if someone gives you a hammer, right? If you don't know any better, like this graphic here, if someone gives you a hammer, you don't know any better, you'll start banging it all over the place, but if you know how to use it in a way that can produce a work of art, you'll be able to do just that, right? So there's also speech and articulatory systems, which is another very practical course that helps you in your listening and speaking skills. But I'll skip this for now due to the limited time we have. I'll probably have to skip the last point too. So I'll go to the next point, which is questioning, which brings us to thinking skills, or this idea of connecting the dots, like this graphic on top here. What connect the dots mean is to link one thing with another and to tie everything together, right? So the more you read, the more your mind is exposed to the world, the more dots will appear, and you'll have a clearer picture when the dots are, everywhere, right? So it's like a jigsaw puzzle. So I think all subjects have this effect, but we'll focus on the few that we have here. So history of oral and print culture. Now I went through your study plan, by the way, just to make sure that I'm relevant in sharing this. Now I think any historical subjects are good for developing thinking skills. You know why? Timeline. Timeline has dots, right? So at this point that happened, at that point that happened, right? So, and when you bring it all together to the here and now, everything just makes a lot more sense, right? So just look at yourself. Who you are today has a lot to do with what happened in the last 18, 19 years, right? So it's the same with any other type of history. Now, another way to develop thinking skills is to travel, right? You know why? Maps. Maps also have dots, right? So subjects like social and culture take you all over the world to see how different communities use language. So someone in Africa will use language differently. Someone in Iran will use language differently. You go to Kelantan, it's different. You go to Sabah, it's different, right? Go to Perak, it's different. So all these exposures will expand your horizon and help you see things better. And as a journalist, this is a very important tool to have. I have to be ready to write almost anything that my editors want me to write about. So if they say, Arifa, go and cover the Prime Minister's press conference, I have to be ready with what the Prime Minister is going to talk about. And that can be so many things at once. So someone like Tun Mahathir, for example, who is this global statesman, will comment on everything from local politics to the economy, to health, to the situation in the Middle East, the South China Sea, what Trump just tweeted, so you have to know what's going on so that you can pick up all his responses and turn them into stories. So that's what it means to connect the dots, right? So my time shows it's 15 minutes already, so I'll stop here. I think that's it. We can interact in the Q&A later, right? So thank you very much.
Alifa, by the way, I love this part, Alifa. I really love this part, and you map it into you took the time to study the study plan. So listen, students, this is our graduate. You should take the time to study your study plan too. All right. So by the way, I'm teaching that Angel 2035. So I'm really happy with this.
Cool.
Thank you,
It's
Alifa.
a very good course. Yeah. So yeah, thanks, Dr. Ruby.
All right.
Great, thank you, Sister Alifa, for the informative presentation. If you have anything to ask Sister Alifa, just let us know in the chat box, okay? Or on YouTube live comment section. All right, now let us hear another sharing from our last speaker, Brother Irfan Iskandar Putra, a student engagement and conversion specialist who is working at QS Enrollment Solutions. So without wasting the time, here is your last speaker for today.
Thank you for the moderator. Am I audible? So yeah, Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this session. Yeah, I didn't prepare any slide as well. And I think I just be brief because all of our panelists have explained very thoroughly about BNL and the working world. And besides, I've graduated in 2019. So it's been only like about 2 years since I've been in the working world. So there's not much that I can share about being in the working world, except for how to prepare yourself while you are currently studying and what to expect after you graduated. Okay.
Irfan, sorry, I just have to say, in
Yeah.
fact, you are, if I have not to undermine the other speakers, the reason why we invite you, because you are the youngest and I would say most relatable.
Yeah. So like I'm the nearest to the students, to the new intake. So I like understand what you're going through, and I still like it's still fresh within me. So yeah, Datuk say that he graduated in 1995. So a year after that, I was born. So still young. All right. And yeah, I'm from Penang as well. So as what Dr. Sis Wahida said, I might be a little bit animated. Who knows? You can judge by the end of it. Okay, so yeah, just like what Sis Alifa said, I also believe that these 4 years of me being in a panel is the best year of my life so far. Okay, and hopefully the best will come after this. But so far, this is the best. Those are the best years of my life. Okay, and I still remember when I was after SPM. I went to an interview for TESOL in UITM. Okay, and I still remember how messed up I was with that interview, just because just like Sis Shaza, I'm from a kampong background. We didn't speak English at home. I only got exposed with English when I was in my secondary school through my English teachers. But to communicate, because my friends are all like mostly Malays and we communicate in Malay. And yeah, so I find it hard to like communicate in English. So during the interview, like I really butchered the interview. But looking at where I am now, I can see that I improve a lot in that sense, and all thanks to being as a BENL student, BENL graduate. Okay, and yeah, since I'm still like 2 years in this working world, so I'm still finding myself, learning about myself and see what I can do, what I can be in the future. And I think like for the students here, don't be how do you say, don't be nervous, or don't like expect that you will know what to do soon after you graduated. It's all a lifelong journey. It's a learning process. It's a lifelong journey. So you can still discover what you can be, even like after you have worked a few years after you graduated. Once you like get find your interest and find what you are good at, then it will become a whole another story. So it's a process. So just bear with it. Okay, and yeah, and I know like some of you might be nervous or anxious of what you can do after you've graduated, and whether you have prepared enough. So for me, I think like I used to be that way, but I think this is the time for you to like just live in the moment. Just prepare yourself. Don't think about the future. The future, we might not know what will happen in the future. So just prepare and just learn all the skills that you can. Participate on all the events. Just be present, because like this will help you. No matter like what you'll be after you graduated, all that you learn now, it will help you in the future. So yeah, because like I can see when we learned in IUM, like the lecturers always give us like this presentation, poster, video. Like sometimes we say that why are we like doing all this? Like will it help? Yeah, it definitely help. Once you are in the working world, if sometimes if you are fresh graduate, then you are expected to do everything. The video, you need to do presentation, sometimes you need to do poster. So yeah, this will help you a lot, and help you to gain like to show that you are capable of doing of surviving in a working world. Okay, and especially if you are in a small company where the job role is not really clear cut. Sometimes you need to do everything, but thank God not for me. Like my role is very straightforward, so I know what I need to do. And now, like after 9 months of being in this company, I become a trainer. I train like new new staff in my department. Yeah, I think because like my dream is to become an educator, but you know, like how sometimes life doesn't like work out for you, or maybe I become in the future. But I think become a trainer, it's sort of like educating people, teaching what I know, like help other staff. So in a way, it kind of like I'm kind of happy with what I do right now. So yeah, even though like in after you graduated, you did not get like the job that you want, but you can still make use of it, find happiness in it, and use all the skills that you learn during your study in Benno. Okay, and yeah, so yeah, I know like this is a very tough period for all of us, especially for the students. Like you might not, the future seem like bleak in a way, because like we don't know what might happen with all this COVID pandemic. But yeah, you just like prepare yourself. Just enjoy your life as a student. I miss my life as a student really, because like once you've worked, then you know how you always plan with your friends to meet up, like after a month or after 2 months only, then you'll be able to do so when you are working, because like we hardly have free time, and even when we have free time, we want to spend it with our family, with our with ourselves, you know, to rest. So yeah, just make use of this. Enjoy what you can, but still also learn while you are enjoying yourself in IUM. Okay, and yeah, just like what Sis Wahida say, good communication skills. Yeah, that's the main thing that what the employer wants once you graduated. And also like since if you are a fresh grad, then you will not have like a job experience for your first job, right? So all these skills, all these events, all these competition that you participated, it will help you. Like you can engage with your future employer with that. You can use this experience as a talking point for you to like show how much you've learned during your study, because you do not have that job experience. So yeah, you cannot like tell them uh, uh, learning like literature, drama, or stuff like that, because like they won't know much about that, because they are not like the same background as you. So you just strengthen your extracurricular activities as well. Okay, and yeah, good communication skill, because like what I am now, I've learned a lot in terms of my communication skills during my 4 year in IUM, because like as I mentioned earlier, right, I can see that there's a huge improvement while between my first interview as a student and now, and I can see that I've improved in terms of my interview with my employers and all. So yeah, you can like this can be developed. Don't worry, because okay, should it address? Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, just continue first. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, and yeah, because like you will do like presentation, and since you are in Banner, like most of your friends, you will communicate like in English. Yeah, that's what my friends, me and my friends are doing. We will like communicating in English just to improve our like. Sometimes you can present well, but during a casual conversation, it's a bit hard. That one is what I find most difficult about how I conveying my my message, because like I can present well, but during a casual conversation, maybe because I don't have that much experience conversing casually with people, so I find it hard a bit. Like it can be learned, just so don't worry about that. Okay, yeah, so, and just I mentioned earlier, yeah, some of you, right, might not get a job that you want after you graduated, but that's not something to worry about, because like, yeah, sometimes life happen and our rezeki is somewhere else. Yep, and as long as you are happy, and you are satisfied with what you're doing, and you think that you are doing something to contribute, then it's supposed to be fine. Okay, and you can still like pursue your dream even after a few years after you have started in the working world. There's no limit, because like we saw like all these motivational posts like showing celebrities and all these big people. They are like not until like they're in the 40s, they're in the 30s that they finally found their true calling. So yeah, some things might happen to us, but if not, then we should make use of what we have. And yeah, eventually the most important thing is that your mental health and your physical health is the most important thing. You will be living with that until you are old. And yeah, because like you will be working non-stop until you are retired. So you might just as well find something that you are happy with, something that don't burden you much. Yeah, you might want to be out of the box. Yeah, that's definitely something that you should do, be out of the box, but don't do so until it become detrimental to your own sanity, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you might say that you don't get to practice what you learned in Benel. Yeah, because like if you want to really practice what you learn, then you can go into academia or you become a writer, journalist. But there are a lot of other works out there that you can actually make use of what you've learned, because not everything is about literature, or you need to go into the science of linguistics, but all the skills that you've learned, those are the most important things that you can carry with you. Like, because like if you ask us now about literature or linguistic, I believe that we won't be able to like answer it correctly, right? So, but we still carry the skills, the experience that we learned during our uni years. So that's the most important thing for you to survive out there. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Yeah, and yeah, and lastly, before I end, I'll just say that yeah, and sorry, just to jump into what Sister Wahida said about creativity. Yeah, that's another thing that's important in the working world. You need to be not just creativity in like doing creative writing, something like that, but you need to be creative in doing your work. Like sometimes your employer would like you to like do this project or do this presentation. So these things needs your creativity as well as an employee, and to show that you can think out of the box, and to show that you are different from the rest of your counterparts. Okay, and yeah, before that, what you should do, you should learn, participate, as what I say, participate in everything that you can. The thing that I regret a bit, that I'm not doing much during my uni years, is I don't usually frequent the library. You know, like our library is very good. The books there, like now when I want to like purchase the books or the things that once in our library, that the price is very expensive and it's very hard to get. But all those, I think that it is very like a treasure for me. So make use of that, and make use of all these events that that all these organizations they're doing, just to expose you and just to prepare you with the skills. Like I believe that there's a lot of events being done by the university, but sometimes we feel like, oh, I'm too lazy, I'm too tired. Yeah, you should be able to make a bit time, like if not like every month, just participate. Don't like be just in your room doing just go to class, eat, go to your room, back to your room, and then sleep. Don't be like that. I know some of my friends are like that, but you should like participate more. And yeah, and yeah, I think that's all. And lastly, I just like to say that no matter how you ended up in Benel, like I know like some people, their parents force them, or they think that they cannot do other courses, and Benel's their last choice. there are some who are genuinely interested in banner, just like I was. This is my first choice in UPU, by the way. Okay, so yeah, no matter how you ended up during banner, you've already here. So you might just as well make use of it and enjoy every day of you being a banner student. And yeah, and don't forget to balance between your study and your other life. So because like yeah, you should prioritize on your study because that's the main thing, but you should also make time to do other things as well, just to enjoy yourself and just to gain more experience, because like later in your working world, then you will not you might find it hard to find time to do all the things that you love. Yep. Okay, I think that's all, and I wish all the new intakes all the best in your 4 years in IUM in during banner. And yeah, don't forget to prepare yourself and just enjoy while you're still here.
I just want to interject here because no, I just want to tell the audience, because you are being very modest, Irfan, and you know, audience, you have to know this. Irfan was when did you graduate again?
2019.
2019. He was our best student. Okay, so I did not teach him because his study plan was a bit different. So I teach linguistics, but I have to tell you, all the other lecturers, whenever I raise Irfan's name, they have nothing but praises. So Irfan has been very modest. He did not mention that part, that he was the best student for his batch. All right, so he's really good. He's really good. Okay, very modest, very good. So yeah, that is coming from me. Thank you, Irfan.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, thank you, Brother Iskandar, for the encouraging speech. Yeah, it's true. You can make use of your talent in what we already have here, like IUM today, we have IUM FM, and also Clairvoyant Society. They are all very active. So thank you again. So now we have come to the Q&A session. Again, you may type your questions in the Zoom chat box and the committees will ask them for you. Now we already have several questions here. Okay, someone asked, what kind of skill will you encourage the student to learn aside from working on their communication skill? Who wants to answer this?
Again, please, Mother.
Go ahead, Datuk. Go ahead.
Tak, dia tanya kat mana? Oh, back chat.
The chat.
Yeah.
Skill other than communication skill lah tu. Tapi rasa you dah sebut ni, macam writing kan?
Kalau moving forward, I think maybe besides all the basics of skills and writing, reading comprehension semua, I would suggest that you guys learn how to do videography, video editing, photo skill, Photoshop, and everything, because this is part of content development team. I think Alifa can vouch this. Let's say talking about 10 years ago, satu team TV3 will go out with one journalist, one cameraman, one soundman, and one driver. And plus, so there'll be 4 of them. But nowadays, there's only 1 of them. Dia lah reporter, dia lah video man, dia lah soundman, dia lah tulis, everything. Just only one person. I think moving forward, yes, we are going towards that direction. So it's good that you learn, especially using phone apps. There are a lot of apps on the phone. Belajar use nowadays they use Canva, very easy to use. iPhone editing, a lot of editing apps, easy to do it, that you can do. Learn that. I think this is a very important skill. You don't have to enter class. A lot of classes on YouTube, everything. If you know how to do it, know how to do editing, it will help you a lot. This really gives you advantage. This is not only for banner students. I think any students pun kan, by the law, accounting can learn these skills, this content development team punya skills. So that's my take lah.
That I would also like to add on to that. So I think the other area that you can look in is also expanding your knowledge in content marketing. So content marketing covers a range of activities where you have your videos, your videography, your photography, your content writing, your storytelling. So when you know how to market your content, it's like Datuk shared earlier, so it's easier for you to share your experiences, to put the right message, the right information on the right platforms, because that is relatively very important. You can't put a content on a platform with which doesn't resonate with your audience. So when you learn all this, you'll become more rounded in terms of the content that you write, the articles that you write, or any materials that you produce, because then you will be addressing the right audiences, the right target group, and you're leveraging the capability of each of the different platforms.
If I may add, don't forget Excel. Employer love if you know how to do Excel. So make sure that you learn Excel from now on.
University too. University
Yeah.
administrators too love Excel. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
This one, let me just baca. I think maybe what clubs or after school activities would you recommend in regards to preparing for a career in this area of study?
Okay,
This one yang banyak involved kan?
Yeah, if I may add, like it depends on what you want to venture into. Like if you want to be in writing, journalism, then write a lot. Like submit to IUM today, write in clairvoyance, participate in all these elites events that will showcase your work. Because these are the things that you will be putting into your portfolio if you want to apply for this kind of job. Yeah, and if you want to like, if you want to be more towards like leadership area, then be in a like myself. I was in the MRC, so I'm a treasurer. So yeah, you can use that to like for your leadership skill, or because like we have these small events that you can become a committee. So become committee if you are into this leadership. So it depends on what you want to do. But if you want like to become a comprehensive student, then just participate in like a little bit of each, so that you learn better. That's all for me.
And that carries star point too.
Yeah, star point.
That carries star point too.
Yeah.
For
maybe that's the maybe if it's hard for you to get 4 flat for the Coco, one day you can get 4 flat. I get 4 flat for Coco.
That is a contributing factor to choose Wahida and Dato. The way it's now is a bit different. So now for the students, in order for us, not only they should be good in their CGPA, in their GPA, their academic, but we have to choose top 5 that who students who participated in various activities. So what I'm saying is that, can you imagine Irfan being the best student with also his I think you are the best also in terms of CGPA, your GPA as well, so very well rounded. So now
Sorry, if I may add to what Irfan mentioned just now, I think it's doesn't matter which club or which after school activities that you actually want to be involved in. Is what matters is the engagement that you have, the knowledge that you gain, the experiences that you go through in all of these activities. I agree with what Irfan said. Be part of the committees, hold a position. Tak payah fikir orang kata gila pangkat, so itu put aside. So just yeah, sometimes orang kata gila pangkat kan nak pegang jawatan. So it's not about that. It's not about wanting the position, but it's the experience that you get from doing different things, holding different position. So when you become a president, it's a different level of the leadership that you go through. When you're a treasurer, it's a different, like Irfan said, Excel is very important. I do agree, which is something that I have not mastered until now. And it's becoming a pain, because whenever you have to do presentations, you have to work with analytics, data. So Excel is your best friend. So be good in that. And most importantly, train yourself to be a leader. It doesn't matter in what aspect. You can lead yourself, you can lead your team, you can lead the entire organization, but you have to start somewhere. The whole point is train yourself to be a leader. And then once you're able to lead yourself, then you can lead others.
Yes, very, very true. So here, others.
If I may add,
Okay.
I think apart from participating in clubs and volunteering, trying to train yourself by volunteering to be the leader or anything, try also to be a good team member. I think it will help a lot when you start working later on, because sometimes I think this is what was lacking sometimes.
Yes,
because
yes.
there are people who tend to work on their own only. It's difficult to work with other people. So try to train yourself to be a good team member. Work in a team.
All right. These questions we have. What do you suggest will help us gain experience and exposure for our future work life? Such as I don't really understand. Is it the skill? Not sure. Hanan Inshirah, if you want to elaborate, what are you referring to the skill? What do you suggest will help us gain experience and exposure for our future work life?
Dr. Ruby, if I can maybe answer this. I think it's quite relevant to the earlier question on clubs and activities, because that's where you gain a lot of experience, as what Wahida, Shaza, Dato and Irfan have mentioned. But in terms of gaining work experience, so I noticed that now internship is a must in the course. So, okay, based on my own internship experience, I think that helps a lot in me knowing what I don't want to do, actually. So all this while, I mean, first of all, I don't know what I wanted to do right up to the point I graduated. I still don't know what I want to do until, I ended up with a journalist job lah, actually, So, but what helped in terms of the internship that I did with actually, is I noticed that I didn't like 9 to 5 work, actually. So I thought I liked research, so I went into research lah. During my internship, I did this research stint, but it was 9 to 5 thing. So what I noticed in this 9 to 5 work routine is like sometimes you don't have that much thing to do, also you still have to go there, kind of thing lah. So I noticed that it was just a 2-month internship thing. Tapi macam like I noticed I didn't quite like it lah. So when I applied for a job, I just know that, okay, that's not an area that I want to go into at the moment. So I just look into, I listed down lah areas yang maybe I would be interested in. So I applied for an NGO, Teach for Malaysia, and then I applied for Malaysian Reserve. Actually, it was by accidental. I was actually applying for MPH because I thought, oh, okay, publishing and stuff like that lah. But because MPH punya toke is looking after Malaysian Reserve, so I don't know, somehow my resume got to him. So he said, oh, okay, I think, because I suppose, I don't know lah, the master's ke benda. So he's like, I think you be a journalist better lah, kind of thing kan. So he sent my resume to the Malaysian Reserve. So yeah, I mean, I think in terms of experience, your internship is an experimental phase. You can try and do something that you think you like, and then see whether or not you like it or not, kind of thing. So, and that helps when you actually are going to look for a job in the future. So yeah.
Yeah. Alifa, thank you for that. I think you mentioned just now about not knowing what to do. I think that's normal. I had a lot of students, I think because they see lecturers umur berapa, ya Allah. They compare themselves to the lecturers. So let's say they compare to me, doctor, how are you so confident knowing what to do? I cakap, masa I umur you pun I tak tahu juga what to do. I mean, I think that's just part of the learning process. Kan, you just not knowing what to do. Raise one question from YouTube Live. I'm asking on behalf of my friend. Tak nak aku cakap. Her question is how to find passion, because she still doesn't know what to do in the future. So let's see. Maybe one of the panel want to elaborate this. I think for me lah, kalau ask me, normal lah ni, not knowing what to do, especially at that age. I think kalau know what to do at that age tu macam wow. All right, so maybe Datuk ke Wahida want to elaborate on this, how to find passion. This is a topic on its own.
My take is that how to find passion. Actually, you won't be able to know until you stumble into it.
Yes.
Stumble.
Yes.
I think we choose the word stumble because sometimes you need to try a lot of things. Yeah, you need to try a lot of things. Then you see which one that fits you. That you have a chemistry into it. I think that one can relate to this one question on the chat box. Say, how do you find courage to be different, take risks, and make choices? Yeah, that's the thing. We cannot be, although, yeah, I think most of us, I was introvert myself, yeah, but kita tak boleh kena ada introvert. We need to dare to make a change. No, we don't have to make big changes. I think you guys still have many years ahead. Make small changes. For example, you love to wear red. Try tomorrow to wear black.
I terasa now, Dato'.
I'm wearing red myself. My favorite color.
I combine both the colors, Dato'.
Okay, make all these small changes to yourself. Yeah, you don't have to be, because to develop courage or to find passion in everything that you like, and you need to make small changes. Tak perlu nak banyak-banyak pun, ya. You have never made a TikTok video. You are not brave. Just make one TikTok video, but it's confined to your family members. That's it, kan? Or try to kalau pergi camping tu, try to jump into a pool dalam air terjun, kan? Kalau kita tak berani, kan, kita cuba kali berani. Or we never tasted sushi, takut ya makan sushi tu, eat one. All these small changes that you are challenging yourself. Actually, you are challenging yourself is to train yourself to be brave, to be adventurous, to try something new. Yeah, cuba sesuatu yang baru. You don't stay in your comfort zone. Don't stay in your comfort zone. Try to make changes. Small changes before you can develop. All these small changes become one and become a big courage for you to make life making changes, just like what Shaza did. She just jumped into a taxi. I think that's unbelievable. And just register herself. It's a leap of faith. Sometimes it's a leap of faith. Kita serah pada Tuhan, kan? Kita serah pada Tuhan untuk yang kita punya decision is correct or not. There are times that we just have to make that leap of faith. There are times that we do a calculative risk. So make that small changes in your life first. Yeah, make small changes. Dari segi makan you, pemakaian you, choice of colors, how you drive. Kalau selalu ni kita jalan ni, okay, tomorrow let's go use a different way. Just to experience it. Travel, I think one of the things is good because when travel you are totally in a new place, a new food, new environment, new people. I would encourage you guys to travel. Tak payah jauh. Kalau you stay in Selangor, okay, let's go to, okay, sekarang tak boleh lah, kan? But you can go to Langkawi. You can go to Langkawi because when you travel, you are on your own. Or maybe you couple of friends, but you have to plan. You have to meet new people, different people talking different way. The way they are thinking are different. You are trying to communicate with these people. This will give you the courage and bravery to make changes in your own life. Yeah, that's it. Make small changes in life. Lepas tu kita boleh buat yang besar. That's my take lah.
Echoing Dato' on that, actually, I totally agree. To that the person asking on YouTube just now. When I was studying, I had this. It was my own personal list, which I called Hari Ini Dalam Sejarah. So why I had that was that I wanted to do things. I mean, okay lah, Penang is not a kampung, but it's an island. So when I went to study in IIU, then I realized that I am actually an islander because I have not known anything else besides the island. So because of that, I started my own Hari Ini Dalam Sejarah, where doesn't matter whatever small little things I do, it was an accomplishment for me, being an introvert, being somebody who ran off stage when she was 14 years old. So it was a little step goes a long way. So you have a lot to learn in your university years, a lot to experience. Don't be afraid. You're still in that controlled environment where it's not wrong to make mistakes. Try and try again. Learn new things. I even had little small things like I want to visit everything with the word negara in it. So I went to Tugu Negara, I went to Istana Negara, I went to Museum Negara. It doesn't matter. It's how you do it. So it brings you, when you accomplish these little things, do not put such big expectations and deadline for yourself. just go with small little things, and as you manage to accomplish it, complete it, then you have that sense of accomplishment, and it builds your confidence along the way. So that is how you get to making the bigger decisions, like how Datuk has done it, like how Shaza has done it. I mean, I wouldn't have done what she did except for running away on the stage. So it's all these little things and how you manage it at your own capacity. Jangan bandingkan dengan orang lain. Just look at your own self, how you can do it a day at a time.
Yes. Jangan banding. Yes, that's so true, Wahida. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Yes.
If I may add that, because like it's inevitable that during this stage of our life that we start to compare with other people. So yeah, jangan banding, and because like everyone have their own like what is written for them and their own pace, and yeah, as long as you are happy with yourself and not in comparison with others, then yeah, it should be fine. Okay, and I also remember that MRC, right? I did not like intend to join that, but then the previous MRC did knock on my door and they say like, oh, we've put your name. They know me, right? So we've put your name to join MRC job interview on that same night. So I was just like, what the hell? I just go and join. So yeah, and then I become MRC, become the treasurer. So get to participate in this event. So yeah, sometimes you just like just go with it. Just try, like in the spur of the moment, just make a decision right there and then. It might take you somewhere you might not know. Yeah.
And that is also the way you find your passion, actually. You just try.
Yeah, you try everything until you find the right one.
Yeah, and despite saying that communication is the basis of everything, how I find my passion is actually, I found my passion through doing brand management. It's not even communications. But I find that to manage a brand, you need to have that whole entire 360 communication capabilities, knowing all the little things, because you want to make a brand matter to someone. So you need to build that brand perception. I mean, everywhere, I'm pretty sure everyone knows, people will say Unify sucks. But it's not simple to change a perception, but all these skills you learn in life, I did study your study plan. Alifa did that, so that will actually help you a lot more, because you learn to read between the lines. You know how to be subtle about telling people things, how to encourage and nudge someone to do something without actually being saying it up front. So these are all the little things that you can do when you master everything that you've learned, and knowing that you master the language, the capability to drill down to the second layer of using all this language to empower and encourage other people. That's your power.
Yes. All right. Do we have any more questions from the students, the audience?
Perhaps I boleh tanya tak to the students, yeah? What actually worry you most when you nak masuk, you nak register, you have registered actually, but you're going to start your courses, I think. What actually, maybe you can share one or two things that you worry most, paling risau apa in your mind at the moment. Maybe you can share with us, maybe something that all of us can relate to. Maybe we have the same feelings, the same thoughts. Apa yang merisaukan? Just share with us.
Students, the panel is asking.
Yeah, now we are asking.
Now you don't ask question, the panel is asking. So what things worry you?
What worries you most?
What worry you most now?
Yeah, of course, everybody worry something, but just maybe you guys can share with us what you worry most, and we can see how we can help you guys. I know when I was back then, that was many years ago, ages ago. I have some sort of inferiority compared to my friends yang study law, yang study accounting, business admin. Kata Zuri, kau belajar language, apa benda kau nak buat banding dengan my friends itu. So I feel I had some inferiority in myself, but I managed to overcome it lah. Tak ada issue worry, and I think I've excelled some where I am now. But perhaps you guys, kalau ada yang students yang ada yang benda yang merisaukan dalam kepala, dalam minda, dalam jiwa, maybe can share.
Dia tulis dalam chat.
Okay,
what kind of job I can do with this degree that concern me, since my friend, family being a bit skeptical about this degree, like you have mentioned. Right, that. Lepas tu number 2, the CGPA. I'm scared that I cannot reach my target. This one mesti overachievers ni. Macam baru belum masuk kelas dah risau about CGPA. Okay, good. And
Good.
number 3, whether I can actually achieve and learn English. So don't worry about the degree. They worry about the grade and also English proficiency.
Yeah. Okay. I think in terms of job, I think we are very you see the panel macam-macam kerja dia ada. That Dr. Hamni is also my batch. I think you will know him. He is a director for comms, I think, for IUM. Yeah. I think there are a lot of work for us in the market. Don't worry about that. Yeah. What kind of job, it will come to you. Worry about your CGPA, I'll be honest, my CGPA was 2.9. Nothing to be proud of, but I don't sell my CGPA when I apply for my work. I apply with the things that I have done during my university days. Like I said, I shared my work. I've written to newspaper. I was a part-time journalist when I was a student. I took a lot of photos, everything. I do write-ups. I do a lot of writing. So when I apply at work as a journalist, I just show my works. They don't even look at my CGPA. They kata, as long as you got your degree, okay. Whether I can actually achieve and learn English, insyaAllah, don't worry, boleh. Ramai orang kampung don't worry.
Don't worry, ramai orang kampung. So Wahida said your lecturers and parents might not like us saying CGPA doesn't count. Yes.
Actually, okay, let me clarify that a bit. Of course, whatever you learn, you need to understand and conquer it. So, but that is how you find all these little things in everything that you learn. But being a well-rounded person, like how Alifa mentioned and Irfan mentioned earlier, so it's not just the CGPA. So it's not just what you learn in the books, but the experiences that you go throughout your journey in IIU helps give you that worldview, that knowledge that is beyond your classroom. So as we go, nowadays we talk about learning beyond the classroom. So it's not just what you see in books, but from your engagements with other people. So join in activities if you have, back then we used to have activities with the industries outside. So you learn from others. So now there's more of that online. So learn, participate in webinars, seminars, conferences, learn new things. So don't be afraid, don't be tied to your CGPA. I mean, I started with having that same worldview that for flat tu kena wajib. Sebab because I was with JPA, so I was a JPA scholar. So kalau tak nanti scholarship tarik balik, you know. So it's that kind of that is the one fear that I had. So I made sure the first few semesters tu dia maintain 3.9, 3.8. But after a while when I started joining activities, so that was the passion that I found when I was learning. So I found out that I like being active in drama. I like being active in, I was with Gamelan and also Angklung. So I like all these musical instruments. So, and I like taking part in activities, organizing events. So that was another passion that I found. So when I sat with my mother, she had the same concern. Mama risau lah. Kelas tak pergi ke tak, assignment buat ke tak? Cakap buat, tapi okey lah, memang ada lah one or two yang terkucil, yang lecturer call bila nak submit assignment. So don't copy all that is not good. But the whole idea is be a rounded person, learn a lot of things and show what you've learned. Do not be afraid to, kadang-kadang kita ni rakyat Malaysia, we are very polite. So we like to be very demure. Whatever we learn, we simpan. We don't tell people. So that is where the worry comes, because sometimes your parents does not see what you've learned or what you've become. Share with them. So this is what you've learned from classes. This is what you've learned from doing your activities, and they will see that you have grown. The whole idea is they want to see that their child, their baby that has gone to university is growing.
Yes. All right, we only have one. Okay, I just take one more question lah, because I think for our students, they have other programs in the, later in the afternoon kan. So takut nanti penat pula dah join semua. Alright, kalau nanti dia bagi tahu Din, tak boleh sebab lama sangat tadi. Kena. All right. Can things then during leisure time, story writing, blogging, YouTube videos, help during interviews as a way to show experience and so on? Things that
Yes,
around
yes. I think throughout my career, I've interviewed hundreds of candidates. I think it's a challenge for any interviewer to try to gauge the capabilities and of a candidate within half an hour the most lah. Kan. Kita nak interview tak lama, about half an hour or so. But if it's purely on papers, it's very difficult. Although it's a 3-pointer or 3.5 or even 4 flat, but doesn't translate that you have a right attitude or whatever. But if you have these evidences like your YouTube or your TikTok, or make sure it's jangan joget-joget lah ya. your YouTube, your blogging, or your published works and everything, and you bring these evidences to you, that it will give you more weight than your CGPA. Seriously, I am as an interviewer, I would look for that instead of your certificates alone. Certificates alone actually don't carry much, maybe about 20% or 30%, but just to make sure that you are really a graduate, then have some intellectual. But your works, your how you present yourself, other than during the interview session, because people know that when you go to interview, you always try to do your best, the way you dress, the way you speak, everything is all rehearsed. But if you can show the same thing, the same energy, the things that you do in your other time during your student days and everything, that will be a very, very strong evidence that will capture the hearts of the interviewers. You'll be different than other candidates. Seriously, you'll be different. If you just go to interview, just showing your certs and everything, you'll be just the same, just like any 100 other candidates. But if you come with your works, with your published work, with your other things, evidences, then you'll stand out. You'll be unique, you'll be different. And that will capture the eyes of the interviewer. Definitely, definitely.
All right, this one, dia bukan question. Dia, hello from Indonesia. I'm enjoying the session. Thank you for sharing with us. So dia nak ada tak social media account? So dia tulis ni to share your IG account here. So maybe if you have a social media account, obviously Dato and all the panels, you have created admirers lah, ramai peminat. Okay, so our students, it's good. I think it's good that they look up to you. So these are good. I have to tell the students, these are good role model for you to look up to. So yeah, if the panel can put your social media account so they can follow you and get updated with what you do in future. Okay, so on behalf of the department, I would like first to express our utmost gratitude for your presence today and for making the time to join us today. So I'm enjoying myself, and I'm sure the students are also enjoying themselves, and I'm sure also they have gained a lot of insights. And the other thing is, because now alumni session ni dah mandated jadi department punya event, so I would disturb you in future. I would call you again in future to be, so it will become perhaps a frequent thing by the department, and I think it's good for us as a department to engage with our alumni, to engage with the industry too. So we'll see when we design curriculum nanti, we can see what the industry wants, so we can sort of align to it. Yeah. So for example, yeah. Sorry.
I think at my age, I'm always willing to share to anyone lah, kan, especially of course to the panel students, back to my alma mater, kan. Just call us, because there are a lot of topics, intercommunication. We got a brand specialist in Wahida, you got government know-how in Shaza, everything, and also journalism, Alifa. I think
writer, journalism.
She did a good job in Code Blue. I've been watching her actually.
Yeah, I am fangirling her. Okay, I'm sorry for the panel. Actually, Alifa, I invited last year. This year, I invited lagi sekali sebab I fangirl. I'm kena invite.
Just call any of us for any topics. Any topic under communication, I think any of us can come and give a talk, 30 minutes or whatever to the students. Any topics.
Inshallah,
I think the level of now is just merely sharing, because ilmu ni lah yang nak tinggal nak petik pahala nanti.
ilmu kan?
Yes.
Alright, so
Okay.
itulah dia. So thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure we want to have more time with you, but as I said, the students, they have other activities later in the afternoon. But don't worry, I will harass. I will invite you in our future events, inshallah. Yeah. So where's my MC, Mariam? So we can proceed.
Yes, I'm here. So it's already 12:26. I think we can stop here. Any last words from the lecturers or the speakers?
I lupa pula the lecturers. The lecturers ada tak kat sini? I think okay lah.
All right. So if there's nothing else, let's end this with Tasbih Kifarah and Suratul As.
Oh, I forgot. Photography session. Sorry. Itu penting tu. All right. So let me just a few seconds. Can everyone, panel of course, the students too, can you turn on your camera? I'll just take a screenshot. Just smile to your laptop. It looks like an idiot gonna just smile, but now that's the new norm. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, ada 3 gallery here. 1, 2, 3. Another one. 1, 2, 3. Kejap. Just continue smiling. Okay, give me a few seconds. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, done. All right, thank you so much everyone for joining. Inshallah, we will see you in for students. We will see you in class, datang kelas. For the panels, inshallah, as I said, I will come and invite you, inshallah. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you. Nice to meet everyone.
All the best, everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Irfan. Thank you, Shaza. Wahida, thank you.